So who would have thought in 2019 that we would still be dealing with bigotry, ignorance, and bias, and that decisions would be made from all of this bigotry and bias, and ignorant people would be out there kind of following through with a lot of it. I would have, even 15 years ago and that kind of thing, I would have thought, geez, you know, this bigotry and bias thing is so ugly, and it's been so ugly over history, and so unbelievably bad decision making that had been based from it. And it just defies logic that is even put in question today. And that it's even acceptable today, because it's not, never has been. And I'm not sure what's going on, and in particular, what's going on with the wild horses and that kind of thing, and why is it so prevalent within the wild horse culture? Some of this stuff that is so narrow-minded that it's kind of unbelievable. The things that people are coming up with in the matters of wild horses, and in some of the stuff that we see promoted, the BLM, you know, as far as any kind of outright observer of government agencies and that kind of thing, they're sitting there saying, well, they must have access to all this information. Well, it's all bigoted, bias, and information, in the assimilation of that, just bad data, is bad decision making. That's how we get 33 million cattle on public lands and private lands in America, and we have 20,000 or maybe 30,000 at best wild horses out there on public lands and in forestry lands combined, maybe 30, and they can sit there and say that there's an overpopulation of wild horses on public and federal lands. And you kind of, just a normal person would kind of itch their head at that kind of thing, and go, wow, what makes that? What makes that mind meld to actually sit there and assume that 30,000 horses is an overpopulation when you compare it with 33 million cattle? And then when you're actually out here, if you were raised in the country, or if you were raised, well, pretty much anywhere, and know that cattle are very destructive animals and stuff. They're slow movers. Their hooves and that kind of thing are huge, and they have so much weight that they can destroy land, grasses, I mean just dirt. They can destroy hard ground, for crying out loud. Look at some of the hard ground that they deal with. I'm just amazed at some of this. That once again, we'll look at you know, in excess of 33 million cattle on lands in America, and 30,000 horses in total, and we haven't found any evidence at all in data gathering to assume that there's more than that. The footprint is very distinguished in regard to whether or not the wild horses do any kind of detriment or any kind of destruction to the public lands, and it's really bothersome. We just God, you got to shake your head in disbelief at some of this stuff. I'm amazed at some of the things that go on, and some of the things that people say, and some of the things that people do. It's just extraordinary to actually assume that people are trying to convince us that there's an overpopulation of wild horses and not cattle, and that it's the horses that are destroying the land and not cattle. they had to lock the horses into a pond area in order for them to do any kind of destruction at all into a swampy area up at Modoc. This is what we're paying them for. I, myself, don't like to be paying bigots and those that are so damn biased that they're seeing figures and images and things that just aren't there. And then we find that in BLM and in the forestry both, we was talking to a retired range manager up here out of Modoc, and he was telling us that he said the same thing as a BLM range manager, that there's lands that was in his prescribed area of supervision, and he never seen any parts of that land. Some of the ranchers up there, they're sitting there and they're straightforward when they say they don't even know who the range manager is because they've never seen one. You know, this is for the forestry and for the BLM. To say that we have some problems, boy, talk about an understatement. My goodness. And to say that they're lies and that kind of thing, no, these are bigots and they're biased and they're just butt ignorant. Not likable people. I'm not quite sure why people support them. So who would be the more ignorant? The people that are sitting there talking about the overpopulation of wild horses being 30,000 and the cattle being 33 million, and they're talking about the horses being the most destructive. Once again, 33 million cattle compared to 30,000 horses over, what, 418 million acres or so. I don't see it. A lot of other people don't see it either. We're not convinced. You think the Bureau of Land Management are a bunch of damn liars. But the people that support it by darting the horses, who's the more ignorant? The ones that are giving the lie out, or the ones that are being fed the lie and going, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we'll go dart them. How much money's involved? Can we make money at it? You know, can we get a per dart payment or whatever? Hell. Then you got some of these people that are making movies, little rich kids, that are out there talking about, oh yeah, let's pay them $250 a dart. For what? To dart an underpopulated population of wild horses? I mean, when we talk about 30,000, we're talking about the 11 western states. 11 western states. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about 418, 420 million acres. And 30,000 horses are on that, and probably even less now. Last year, it's less 11,347 or whatever from the roundups last year. So what now? You know, so we got 30,000 minus 11,000, 19,000. You know, what's up? And they want to take 27,000 in the coming couple of 3 years, 4 years or whatever? Nah, this isn't working out even within the numbers. It's like biologically, the framework just isn't there. Biologically, it's not there because there's no biology that has been applied to this. An oxymoron is a forestry / BLM biologist. Straight up oxymoron. A darter, oxymoron, yet another one. But if you live long enough, you see the government doing foolish things a lot, and this is just another one. 33 million cattle, 30,000 horses. And the horses are to blame for everything. Kind of a certain level of bullshit that seems to be going on all the time these days.